Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the JB Show. I know last episode I talked about Mitch Marner, and of course, not even a day later, Mitch Marner goes ahead and signs a contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I have to do it. I'm sorry. I have to do it. And everything I said in the last episode, scrap it. Some of it's going to be the same, to be honest, but most of it's actually going to be quite different. So let's start with, what does the contract look like? It's a 6-year deal. The AAV is 10.893. 93 actually happens to the number 93 happens to be his junior number when he played for the London Knights. Also happens to be Leafs legend Doug Gilmour, and his number is retired. So that's why Mitch Marner's not wearing 93, but they threw it into the contract. Now, okay, it's obviously signing bonus heavy. First year, $15.3 million. Second year, $14.3. Third year, $9.6. And then $7.25 for the rest of the contract for each year, just for signing bonuses. Then then basically the base salary is $700, and then $700 for the first 2 years, and $750,000 for the next 4 years. Now, what do I think of the deal? Now, obviously, I have to say this is an overpayment. I think most people would agree with me that this is somewhat of an overpayment. I wouldn't be opposed to saying it's a bad deal, though. For right now, yes, I think this is not a deal in the Leafs' favor. He's only had listen. Let's look at his point totals. First year, 77 games, 61 points. Second year, 82 games, 69 points. And then last year, he played 82 games, got 94 points. Now, what's the difference? Last year, he played with John Tavares. And there was a lot of arguments between Leaf fans that Mitch Marner helped John Tavares more. John Tavares helped Mitch Marner more. And I think, in my opinion, from what I've seen John Tavares in the past, what I've seen Mitch Marner in the past, I think it would be fair to say that John Tavares helped Mitch Marner more than Mitch Marner helped John Tavares. And I think there's obvious reasons why. Number one, Mitch Marner, yes. Mitch Marner is probably one of the best, if not the best, winger that John Tavares has played with in his career. Which means, yes, he's going to elevate his point total to a certain extent. But let's not forget that John Tavares is an elite center in the NHL. Very good center. He's going to score more goals than other centers that or wingers you're going to play with. Who did he play with last? Who did Mitch Marner play with 17-18? For a lot of the time, JVR and Tyler Bozak. Now, yes, JVR is great in front of the net, but other than that, yes, he can score goals. I'm not denying JVR is not a good goal scorer, but compared to John Tavares, no. Tyler Bozak, he's a good center, sure. Nothing like John Tavares. And no disrespect to those two players. They are great Leaf players, but compared to John Tavares, I'm sorry, no. I would take John Tavares over those two players every single day. So what I'm getting at is that when people say that Mitch Marner helped John Tavares, yes, that's certainly true, but not the same way that John Tavares helped Mitch Marner. So going forward, right, Mitch Marner is going to enter his prime in a couple of years. John Tavares is in his prime. That can only mean good things. And I think at this point, with the way training camp looks, it looks as if John Tavares and Mitch Marner are gonna play together. And now it looks as if Kasperi Kapanen, Babcock's gonna start Kasperi Kapanen on the left side, which I think would be a great first line or second line, whatever, 1A, 1B. Do I expect Mitch Marner to put up 94 points again? With the contract he was given, I would say yes. Realistically, I'm not sure. I don't think I'd set the bar at 94. Obviously, he's what, 22? He's he's 22. Uh so yeah, he has room to grow. He's going to play he's probably going to or hopefully he's going to play more ice time. He's going to play on the penalty kill, going to play the quarterback that power play, first power play unit, play like he's playing with skilled players. I'm not worried that Mitch Marner's not going to put up big numbers. I think he will. I don't know 90. I don't think 94 points. Now I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong that Mitch Marner goes out, and you know what? I hope he scores 100 points because I just want him to score points. Now with this contract at 10.893, I said before that it's not the greatest deal for the Leafs right now because this cap situation they're in, they're spending basically half the cap on four players in Mitch Marner, John Tavares, William Nylander, and Austin Matthews. Right? Matthews is 11.634, Tavares is 11, Marner's 10.8, and Nylander's 6.9. That's a lot of money dedicated to four players. And it's going to be interesting next year. I think I'll get into this a little bit later on the defensive situation, the goalie situation, what's going on there. But I want to finish what I'm saying on the deal. Now, I think in the future, because right now, is Mitch Marner a 10.893 or 10.8, let's say 10.8 for now, a $10.8 million player? Not necessarily. In 2 years, is he, when he's going to be 24, is he going to be a $10.9 million or $10.8 million player? I think so. I think he could be. I honestly think he could be. And I know a lot of people would say otherwise, but I don't see what's wrong with saying that. Why can he not be a $10.8 million player? He's 22. Now, he is the second highest paid winger in the NHL right now at 10.8. The only person above him, Artemi Panarin, at 11.6. Now, I'm not comparing Artemi Panarin and Mitch Marner. I think that there are better wingers in the NHL at this moment. I can name you three of them off the top of my head: in Nikita Kucherov, Alex Ovechkin, and Patrick Kane. I think I would take those three players over Mitch Marner right now. And Nikita Kucherov is also 25, in his prime, scoring 128 points in a season. Next year, I think he's going to light up the league again. Why is it not? Why do people not think it's possible that Marner could be better than these players? Now, yes, I'm not saying he's going to touch Ovechkin's scoring record, or that's not what I'm getting at. I'm saying as a full player, because watching I watched Marner play in his first season with the Leafs, even when he went back to play in the junior with London. I don't think his defensive end skills were as good. So we already saw him improve from junior to now, which is his last year of junior to now would be 4 years. You saw how much I saw how much he improved in getting back, playing the defensive game as well as playing the offensive game. I think there's room for improvement for Mitch Marner. Now, when the cap goes up because of the TV deal, or the new US TV deal that's going to come, because of gambling, because of Seattle, we're going to see a cap increase, hopefully. I'm assuming, based on all of this, that we're going to see a good cap increase in the coming years. Will that 10.8 be the same? No. What 10.8 is now is not what 10.8 will be in the future. Just like Sidney Crosby I'm just using his cap hit as an example. Because Sidney Crosby has 8.7, right? 8.7 cap hit now is not even close to what it was when he signed it in 13-14. Not close. The cap hit percentage it was 14.5. It is not 14.5 now. It is closer to 10. So as the cap increases and as Marner's cap hit percentage gets less, what he will be valued as will change. So I think based on his room, with the room to improve, and based on the cap, I think you'll see Marner, the actual dollar value. It will listen. This deal will never be a steal. It will never be a steal like the Nathan McKinnon deal, the Johnny Gaudreau deal. Never gonna be like that. Never. It's when with the cap hit, unless he's putting up 10 and like 120 points. I don't think that I would say Mitch Marner is a steal. Even 120, I don't even think is enough, based on the player that Mitch Marner is. So I still haven't answered my question if this is a good deal or a bad deal. So I'm gonna sum it up quickly because I gotta move on. It's an okay deal right now. I think it can become a good deal in the future, in a few years. I think you can say, yeah, I think Mitch Marner is worth this. Sorry. Now, I saw a lot of people complaining about the cap hit, and I know I'm still talking about the cap hit, but I'm going to do it anyways. And I saw this tweet from JD Bunkus of Sportsnet, and I thought it was really interesting. It says each of the Leafs RFA, quote unquote, won their negotiations, but overpaying star players instead of mediocre talent is a strategy we should all be able to get behind. And I very much agree with this. I think that's very smart, and I'm gonna give you a stat that you'll find funny, especially if you're a Leafs fan. Okay. So the Leafs have Matthews 5 years left and Marner 6 years left for 22.5. The Oilers have McDavid 7 years left and Draisaitl 6 years left at 21 million for both of them. Now, who else do these teams have? Now we know Riley, Anderson, and Muzzin, a combined cap hit of 14 million. That's depth, right? That's considered depth. Neil, Koskinen, and Russell on the Edmonton Oilers have a combined cap hit of 14.25. Should I explain it? Do I have to explain the cap hit? Because I think, looking at the players that the Leafs have signed, I'm very content with the deals. William Nylander's deal, everyone hates it. I know everyone hates it. I don't. I really think if he plays with Matthews the entire year, both of them have improved. Both of them will improve. Matthews is 21. Nylander is 23. They will put up more and more points. If Austin Matthews has a full 82-game season, or even if he misses a game, but a game or two, or as long as he has no actual injuries, no major injuries, I think he can put up 50 goals. And playing with William Nylander, playing with that, you will see his point totals go up. This deal is a steal deal. I think this is a deal that can be a steal by the end of it. Now, Alex Kerfoot, 3.5. That's fine. Third line center. I'm not complaining about that. Is it an overpayment? I don't think so. Andreas Johnsson, 3.4. No, I don't think that's an overpayment. Kasperi Kapanen, 3.2. Listen, when Nylander wasn't there last year, Kapanen stepped up. Hyman's not there to start the season. Kasperi Kapanen playing with Marner and Tavares, I think he'll step up. Those are the forwards that are making significant money. Now the rest of them are making 925 or less, but these are important players too. Uh, Especially Trevor Moore. We'll see what he does. I think he can play the third line. I think he'll do well. Nick Patan depends if Babcock likes him and will play him. Now defense. This is where it gets serious. You got Morgan Riley at $5 million. I think that's a steal. I think that's already a steal. He has 3 more years left. I may get to Cody Ceci later. Jake Muzzin at $4 million. I think that's a good deal. He's a UFA at the end of the year. We'll see what he asks for. Tyson Barrie at 2.75. Now, yes, it was a 50% retain, but that is insane that Kadri, Kali Rosen, and a pick got you Alex Kerfoot retained Tyson Barrie. I just think that's awesome. That's someone. If to be honest, if I'm the Leafs and I have to choose between Muzzin and Barrie, I think you go with Barrie. He's gonna be your number one guy. Jake Muzzin can be replaced by Travis Dermott. Plus, you got Rasmus Sandin coming up. We'll see what happens there. And then you got Ben Harper, which is whatever. Jordan Schmaltz, who could be a useful third pairing guy. Marinson and Hall. I don't think they're going to get a lot of playing time. Then you got Anderson, who's at $5 million, and Michael Hutchinson at $700,000. So this team as a whole, yes, it's very forward heavy. Okay, I just realized I forgot about Cody Ceci. So let's quickly do Cody Ceci. Cody Ceci is 25, makes 4.5 for 1 year. Then he's out. He's a UFA. I don't think the Leafs are going to re-sign him unless he shows actual value. Now, I'm going to put this question out there for Leaf fans because I saw a lot of hate, especially towards Kyle Dubas, about the Cody Ceci acquisition. Oh, you could have let Ceci walk, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but listen, would you rather have Nikita Zaitsev for how many more, like 5 more years? Or you want suck it up, deal with Cody Ceci for a year? If Cody Ceci doesn't work, scratch him, I don't know. Bring in Timothy Liljegren. There's solutions to these problems that we have. The Leafs are not stupid. The Leafs are not, they have depth. They have younger players who can come up soon. I'm not worried as a Leafs fan. And after this podcast, I really hope that I don't have to talk about bad Leaf stuff for a while because I feel like I've just been doing it over and over again. But I am very excited that Marner is signed. I can't wait for the season to start. Now, what is next year? Is next year a cup or bust year? And my honest answer is no. And here's why. I don't even remember when the last time, I can't remember when the last time the Leafs made it past the first round. My expectations for this team moving right now, they need to win a round or two. It's let's get to the round. It's let's get past Boston. Let's get past someone else. I think conference finals, that's what I'm thinking. Conference finals, that's where we need to get. I will be happy with that. I will be even happier if we make it to the cup final, and I will be crying on the floor if we win the cup. But to say it's cup or bust when the team... Listen, I hate the idea of saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. The fact that the team has never gone that far, or how many players on this team have ever gone that far. Tavares, no. Muzzin is probably the only player on this team who has ever... Oh, Cody Ceci. He made it to the conference finals with the Sens. I'm pretty sure he played. Or was he even there? Yes, he was. Played 19 games in the playoff in 16-17. the experience, and I hate using this as an example, but the experience isn't there. Because I think that, you know what, screw experience right now. It's how you play at the time. If you want it, you can go get it. It doesn't matter if you've played there before. It's if you want it, you go get the puck, put the puck in the net. But most people don't agree with that. So I have two more points. And I mentioned this one specifically earlier. Is Kyle Dubas a good GM? And my answer to that is, I think he is. Listen, and I know a lot of people some people disagree with that. Every GM has their strengths and weaknesses. I can definitely tell you that one of Kyle Dubas' strengths is drafting, or what he looks for in players. I think he looks at the NHL and says, what is the NHL going to be? Not what is the NHL? Because if you stack your players with big, tough guys, in 5 years when the NHL is nothing like that, you are screwed. You are screwed. That's what happens. Now, based on on the talent he has brought in, I think he's good. Look, signed Janssen and Kapanen into good deals. I think they are good deals. Brought in Alex Kerfoot to essentially replace Nazem Kadri on $1 million less, at 3.5. And in that same deal, brought in a true top pairing right-handed defenseman. That the Leafs, I don't think, have had that for a while. The Leafs have not had that for a while. Now, his negotiating skills. I would consider that one of his weaknesses, but he's also in his early 30s. No one is great at everything when they first start. Fine, you know what? He says he tried to dig in, but he didn't, and then signed William Nylander at 6.9. And you know what? He didn't produce last year. But that's okay. Next year, again, if he's paired properly with Austin Matthews, you will see the numbers go up. John Tavares at $11 million. I think that is a deal. San Jose offered him $13 million a year. And he came back for 11. So you tell me. Austin Matthews, 11.6. Is it a lot of money? Yes, a lot of money. Is the term shorter than most deals after, like, for a superstar player? Yes, but personally, I think that's the way the NHL is going. A lot of superstar players might be taking smaller deals, or that's what at least the players want. Do I agree with the 11.6 number? I think my answer would be similar to Marner, but again, I think he's a better player than Marner. A lot of people would not agree. Like, I'd get into some arguments with people on Twitter, but yes, he is. He's a better player than Marner. That's pretty much it. But the number. He's a goal scorer. He's a great hockey player. I think maybe right now it's a little high, but in 2 years, is that number going to be high? Based on his skill and based on the way he's improving, based on how he scores goals, I think that number is going to be a good deal. Now, again, no, it's not going to be a steal because it's extremely high number. I can't imagine the number of goals and points he'd have to put up for that to be a steal. So yes, his negotiating skills maybe are not the best. They're not the best in the world. But he has room to improve. As I said before, everyone's not the best from when they start. Now, it's going to be another interesting offseason, and I know every year it's a different contract. He has Travis Dermott this summer. Also, Jake Muzzin and Tyson Berry are expiring, so this will be another important summer for him with negotiating. And this time, he doesn't have all summer. He basically has until July 1st to figure out, especially Jake Muzzin and Tyson Berry. Travis Dermott, he has a little bit longer. So, final answer. Is Kyle Dubas a good GM? Yes. That's it. No comment. That's it. I have already been rambling. My final point of this podcast is about Darren Ferris, who is Mitch Marner's agent. Now, I've talked about him, and I think in the last episode and whenever else I've talked about Marner, I've always brought up Darren Ferris because he's been the guy who's been negotiating. Now, today he came out and did some. He was on TSN. He was on Sportsnet. He said that there were 2 offer sheets rejected. This is the first of 2 comments that I thought were notable. 2 offer sheets were rejected, and then Matthew Barnaby reported that it was Minnesota and Columbus who rejected them, who offered them. And Mitch Marner himself rejected both because he wanted to be a Maple Leaf. I also and what do I think of that? It's sure that, like, if you're a Toronto guy, you grew up watching Toronto, you want to play in Toronto. That it seemed that way. He said it multiple times, but at the same time, this is a business. Well, yes, he's playing sports. As a player, he's also off the ice. He needs to make money, and what is Darren Ferris's job? To get the most money possible. Do I agree with all his tactics? Probably not. But I think he was doing his job. He was trying to get as much money as possible. This is what happened. Kyle Dubas, again, did not want the same stuff that happened with Nylander last year. I think if stuff didn't happen, I think by max tomorrow, which would be a couple days into camp, or a few days actually into camp, I think Kyle Dubas would have said, you know what, listen, that's it. Like, I think he would have made some calls and probably looked at the trade options for Mitch Marner. Now, his second comment, which I thought was the most interesting, is he said that he thought there were more offer sheets that were going to come. Because on October 2nd, when the season officially starts, you cannot go over the cap at all. Right now, teams are allowed to go over the cap by 10%. But once October 2nd comes, no more. So with the cap crunch that is coming, because there are quite a few teams, including Toronto, who are in a bit of a cap issue. Teams still need to sign their RFAs. Darren Ferris thought there were a couple other teams who were interested in offer sheeting. I would be quite interested to know who those teams are, just because looking at the offer sheet on Cap Friendly, the calculator, I'm assuming it'd be the 4 first-round picks territory. Every team has the 4 first-round picks eligible. It's just who would offer. Like, I can go through every team. Let's do it. We're going to do it right now. Colorado Avalanche, no. They got their own stuff to deal with. Winnipeg Jets, no. They have enough to deal with. The Ottawa Senators, why? Columbus tried. Could have come in with a different offer. The Ducks, no. Tampa Bay, they got Braden Point to deal with. The Kings, I really don't think so. Devils, no. Flames, no. They have Matthew Tkachuk to deal with. The Wild could have tried a different offer, but I don't think so. Islanders are another team that were reported to send in an offer sheet. I guess they didn't, but maybe they would come around again and send in an offer sheet. Red Wings, no. Canucks, no. Canadians, you never know. They tried to offer sheet Sebastian Aho. Boston, God, I would hate it. San Jose, no. Chicago, no. Edmonton, that would be quite funny. Nashville, no. Philly, no. Everyone else is no. I don't see another team. So the teams we're looking at are Columbus coming around again, Minnesota coming around again, and New York. Those are the teams that I look at and say, listen, this is where these are the teams that are coming after you. I don't think that Mitch Marner would want to go to any of these teams. He was quite clear that he's a Toronto Maple. He wants to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. I'm happy he's a Toronto Maple Leaf. I put this tweet out. Marner and Tavares are Leafs for 6 more years. Matthews and Nylander are Toronto Maple Leafs for 5 more years. Can we please be happy for like 2 weeks? Just like until the season starts. We'll go through training camp. We'll see who gets waived. But please, can we just be happy for like 2 weeks? I'm so excited for the season to start. I really hope all Leaf fans are, because I think this is going to be a wicked season. Please, let's be happy. I'm just way too excited. Thank you for listening to another episode of the JB Show. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and make sure to go check out my other hockey podcast with my friend Adam, a weekly podcast where we literally just talk about hockey. Thank you for listening.